Hey guys, come on in, come on in. I'm Julie with Nothing is Wasted Designs, and welcome to my page. I do a variety of different kinds of crafts. I decoupage, I resin, I'm learning to paint. What else do I do? Gosh. I work with paper crafts and just a hodgepodge of things. So I'm not tucked into any one niche, but I like to learn and I like to try new things. And the newest thing on my list is, well, actually, it's been for about 2.5 years now, is to learn how to paint. So come on in. This is what I started yesterday. I was in an event, and I had 45 minutes to finish the painting, and I wasn't able to finish it. So I want to show you where we're starting. This is where we ended yesterday, and today we're going to, or tonight, we're going to add a snowman to this little guy. And so here we go. So hold on to your hats. I'm in the process of using up a couple of different bottles of paint. And hopefully I'm going to have enough of each color to get to the bottom of everything. So this is my palette that I used yesterday. This is a disposable waxed palette. When I'm finished with it, I will just, let's see if this came through. Hold on. I will just tear that off, and then I will be able to just throw it away and not have to worry about it. So let me add my white here. Okay, the colors that I'm using are white. I used a little bit of gray yesterday. I may have to get some more white, so we'll see how this is going to mix, because this is, I don't have any more of that, and we're gonna play with it. All right, so I've got to kind of get my head back in the game of what I did yesterday, and I think I just stuck my ring and everything right in the paint. Not the plan. Come on in, y'all. Come on in. If you're there, say hello. Let me know who's on the other end, and we're going to get started. This is the piece that I started yesterday. It's a wintry scene. The theme that I was working with yesterday was Whimsical, Wonderland. Okay, this is good. So we've got a little bit of this. Oh, I don't think I'm going to need that much of it. All right, so we're going to go in with our snowman today. This is where we're going to pick up off from where we went yesterday. And remember, I'm new, so if you want to learn at the very, very beginning, then you're in the right place. If you already know how to paint, then you can probably tell me what to do. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to draw my snowman right about here. One of the things that I tell the people who normally are my what do I want to say, regular followers, is if you're new and you're trying to figure something out, you can always trace onto your board. I have not traced anything on here. And the other thing that you can do is develop some muscle memory. So you can take, I'm going to be using a round brush, and you can take a brush that doesn't have any paint on it and just kind of go around where you think what you're going to do for your snowman. Get some muscle memory going there. So I'm going to put my snowman about right here. So now I'm going to pick up the paint, and we're going to just go for it. I'm going to draw a circle, and I think I want him to be about right here. I'm going to draw a circle, and we're going to fill it in. Maybe a little bit bigger. Remember that when you're trying to get a good edge, you want to make sure that you have plenty of paint on your paintbrush. All right, and this actually has got a little bit more than I need it to be. And then we're going to fill this in. And then after we get all three of the snowman's little stacks or body parts or whatever we want to call it, we will go back around with some colors from the background so that we can do some shadowing and stuff like that. All right, here we go. We're going to go in here with a second layer. I'm going to try and start smaller, and then if we have to go out larger, we can do that. I typically don't work with a round brush very often, but that doesn't mean that this isn't the brush to use. This is, I want to give a shout out to Emily Sealhammer. She does tutorials, and if you ever get a chance, follow her page. She's got a lot of easy paintings to practice with. All right, so here we go. This was a tutorial that she did, and I actually have, I finished one piece, and because I wanted to practice it before I actually started painting it for the event that I was in yesterday. All right, so just kind of gonna grab a little bit more paint in here so that we can get this covered. Want to make it in a circle so that it looks like a ball. Same thing for this one up here. All right, let's see how that looks. That's looking pretty good. And so I might make him just a little tiny bit bigger, just a little bit, not by much, so that his head isn't too small. And again, I'm going to make sure that I paint this in a circle so that it looks round. Now, sometimes, you know, when you look at stuff, it's like, oh, well, that looks so easy. And it is, but it's a matter of just continuing to practice. I want to make sure that, you know, that he's upright. And I have painted snowmen that were kind of leaning a little bit. All right, so now we're going to go in here with the head. The head's going to be even smaller. Start out small. You can always go bigger, and if you get your snowman too big, his head too big, or one of his body parts too big, you can always, all right, I'm liking this. This is what we have, okay? This is what we're starting with. And then I'm going to just kind of go back down here and fill in some of the colors down here. And then we're going to pick up some of these colors. We want it to kind of stay wet as we're working with this. And I'm going to come over here. Let's see, I want to grab, I think, some of this darker color. This is called Teal Mint. Is this the one I want? Yeah, this is the one I want. This is Teal Mint. I'm going to add a little bit of this to my palette. I'll show you what I have. So I've got just a little bit of that. I'm going to come in here, and I'm going to go in here with just that and maybe a little bit of white so that you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to pick up a little bit of white. And we're going to come in and we're going to go on the outside. We're going to start here. And we're going to go on the outside, and we're going to come in here with a little bit of white. And we're going to put just a little bit of a shadow around here. And, okay, we want to make sure that this is kind of coming around. Add a little bit more white in here so he doesn't look too bluish green. Kind of blend this in here. And then we can come back over this after this dries a little bit, but I just wanted to kind of blend this in here. All right, we're going to come around and we're going to go across his bottom. I'm going to make this just a little bit darker. The dimensions in the colors is what's going to help this actually. All right, and then we're going to come in one last time. We're going to go underneath his chin. And we're going to blend this in. Okay, I'm going to wipe some of this off and come back with some white. And again, we're going to blend that. And we're going to just kind of go back and forth. I got a little bit too much blue-green in there, so we're going to come back. Come back with some more white. And just kind of tone that down. And again, we want the darker side to have, you get to pick the side, which side where the light is going to come from. We're going to have the light coming in here. And here we go. And we're going to do the same thing with this head. We want more white than we do. And then we're going to just kind of blend this in, and I may have to come back with a little more of the green. All right, here we go. Just a little bit more. Kind of darker on the edge, and then blending as we go. Now, when I first started painting, one of the first things that that God taught me was blending, and it's really kind of cool to see how all of this is playing out, because I learned blending first, it's really made everything else just kind of fall into place. It's been pretty cool. All right, so I'm going to come in here with a little bit of this darker color so that it kind of frames his face. And then we're going to take some white and we're going to just kind of keep blending this till we get what we're looking at, or what we want to get. Here we go. All right, and I'm going to come down here and I'm going to add just a little bit more white in here on this side. So that he's not quite so blue-green. All right, so this is what we have so far. You can see we've got just a little bit of shadowing. And I'm probably going to come in here with just a little bit more white. There we go. And some more white for his face. I like to use a filbert brush. I tend to have more control with that, but You know, you can use whatever kind of brush works better for you. All right, and then we're going to do a little bit more. It's going to be lighter on this side, darker on the other side, lighter on the side where the paint where the light is coming from. Okay, and I'm going to just keep playing with this until I get what I actually want. There we go. I like that. Okay, and then I'm going to come down here at the bottom, come around, and then I'm probably, after I get what I actually want, I think I'm going to come around and just do just a really fine detail. All right, here we go. Around the edges. Okay. And we're going to throw just a little bit of color in here. Okay. Don't want the edges to be too sharp. And just keep playing with it. All right, so I think this is what we got. So this is what we have, y'all. See if you can see the shadowing there. All right, so the next thing we're going to do, let's go ahead and dry this. I think I want to go in with just a little bit of a detailed brush and give it a more of a sharp edge around the perimeter. Okay, there we go for that. So now I want to go in. I'm going to go in with just a little bit more white in here. Still not completely satisfied with what I have yet, so just going to keep playing with this until I have what I'm after. I'm going to bring some white around this side here. And then do just a couple of streaks and then we're going to blend that in. Just a little bit of that pop of color. And then we're going to come over here, do the same thing, just kind of blend it. Oh, I didn't want quite that much. That's okay. We can blend this out. All right, that's what I want. And then we're going to come up here to the middle guy. this is wet, we're going to go along this edge. And then we're going to take and go along this edge here. Grab a little bit more white. There we go. All right, I think we're getting it, y'all. I think I got it. Concentrating. Concentrating. Got this a little bit too much. All right, one last time. Okay, I'm going to wipe some of this off, and I'm going to get just a little bit more white. Grab this. And I'm going to need some more white almost out of this. Hey, Mary. How are you? I'm finishing up the snowman. I'm going to turn this upside down because I think by the end of tonight we're going to have this all used up. All right, y'all. Here we go. This face is a little green, so we're going to just kind of bring that in. Bring a little bit more white in here. Just kind of smooth that out. Get a little bit more white in here. Okay, all right, I think this is going to be what we have. And then I want to take just a smidgen of this color here. And just kind of blend it in. With the background cut, to add just a little bit of the black background color in with this. Okay. And then one last. Can't seem to get this face exactly like I want it, but that's okay because we're gonna spruce him up. All right, so there we go. So this is what we have. We've got a little bit of shadowing over here. I'm gonna add just a smidgen over here. a small amount down here, just to kind of clean that edge up. There we go. All right, I like that better. And then we're going to come around here. Same thing. All right, so this is what we have. See how he's got a little bit of shadow on him? All right, and so I think what I want to do next is we're going to go ahead and get his face on here. I keep messing with his face. And then I have to go over and add the paint to it. There we go. And then we're going to blend this. I want to get some of this paint off of here. All right, I think I got it this time, y'all. I'm going to bring this up, this down. Okay. All right, let me rinse my brush. So that I can start clean again. And the next thing we're going to add, we're going to come in here. I want to dry this. Just want to get just a little bit of this in here. There we go. All right, so let me rinse this again, and then we're going to come in here and we're going to give him a face. And we're going to give him some eyes, a nose, and a mouth. And I'm going to, what brush am I going to use? I'm going to try this little brush here, y'all. And I'm going to come in with some black. Let's see if I can find a spot in here. I'm going to come in here with, all right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just kind of, is that going to be, I'm looking for a brush that's going to give me the right amount of detail. And it might be this guy. Let me see what this one's going to do. It may be that one, or let me see what else I've got over here. Not sure about that one. All right, let's go in here with this little guy here. And I'm going to twirl my brush. I'm going to just twirl my brush so that I get a nice... All right, here we go, y'all. Actually, you know what? I better do his nose first, and then that way I'll make sure his eyes will be in the right place. So let me back that up. And we're going to do his nose next, and his nose is going to have orange. Okay, let me bring this over here so y'all can see what I'm doing. I'm going to put just a little bit of orange. I don't need much. And a little teeny tiny bit. I think I'm going to add just a little bit of red in this. Just to deepen this more to a little like a browner color. All right, so let me put that in my water. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick this up, add a little bit of orange, a little bit of red, and I'm going to just kind of, it's going to give me a little bit of a red-orange. Maybe just a touch, just a smidgen of black. There we go. very, very little. I don't need much. That was probably too much. Let me add a little bit more orange to this. There we go. Okay, let me stir that in there. That's better. Kind of a brownish, this is giving me kind of a brownish color. All right, let's see if I can do this, y'all. I'm going to try with both of these brushes and see which one I think is going to give me more control. So I'm going to stick this brush in here. Actually, I think this smaller one's going to work, so I'm going to go with that. All right, we'll put this one in my water. I'll get it back out if I need it. And I'm going to come in here and just kind of swirl this on here. And I'm going to make just like a half circle. And there's his nose. And then I'm going to fill it in. He's looking up at the sky. All right, I'm going to dry this so that I can layer it. And we're going to come in here and fill this in. Okay, let's dry that. We're going to add just a tiny bit. Let's see if I have some brown out here. Here's some brown. All right, so I'm going to take just a tiny bit of brown here, and just 1 dollop of that is all I'm going to need. And I'm not even going to clean my brush. And I'm going to come in here with just a small amount of brown, and I'm going to go along the edge of his nose. I almost feel like I could do black. I'm going to add a little bit of black to this. Make it more of a chocolate brown. And then I'm just going to do some little, like, here we go. All right, we're going to dry that. Not dry it, but hi, how are you doing? Good to see you. All right, I'm going to add just a little bit more orange in here. Let's see if this is wiped off. Oh, well, that's not what I wanted to do, but here we are. So we're going to just widen his nose. All right, so there's his nose. I'm going to stop messing with it. We'll go ahead and dry it, and then we're going to do his eyes. All right, let's see if I can get a really, really thin something for his eyes. All right, let me try it and see what we get. All right, so make sure my hand's clean. And we're going to go in here with his eyes. Okay, that's going to work. All right, let me get another, make sure that I have fresh paint on here. Okay, we made it. All right, so we got his eyes in there. And now we're going to do his mouth. And for his mouth, what we're going to do is we are going to just do some little dots. All right, so there's his mouth. All right, we're going to rinse our brush again. This has been fun to paint. All right, so next thing we're going to do is let's give him some arms. Then we'll come back and I'll give him some, all right, so I'm going to come in here with some black. All right, so here we go, y'all. We're going in here with his arms. I want to make sure this isn't going to drop any water on this when I do it. All right, so here we go. We're going to give him some arms. And we're going to start with like a little circle. And then we're going to come out and this is going to be, it's going to get skinnier. This is a liner brush that I'm using. It's got just like a few hairs in it. And then we're going to come back and we're going to do just some fingers off to the side. Okay, so there's one arm. All right, now we're going to come in here and we're going to do the same thing on the other side. And again, we're going to give him, I probably should have done the left side first. All right, let me move this over just a little bit. All right, so I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to do just like a half circle. I'm going to turn this. And we're going to come up. And then we're going to color this in. Now, you could do this with markers too. Like acrylic markers. You could use acrylic markers with this and draw your snowman in here. If you don't have, you know, a liner brush or, all right, there's, I'm going smaller. And then we're going to come in here. I think I want to give him some more, so he looks more branch-like. There we go. All right, so this is what we have for his arms. And then while this is still wet, I'm going to come in here. I'm going to rinse my brush off just a little bit. I'm going to come in here with just a little bit of tan. Got just a little bit of tan here. And I'm going to go across this. Just give it some highlights. And then I'm going to do the same thing over here, but I'm going to come down just because that's the angle that I'm at. Just give it a few highlights. go, we've got that. All right, so now, let's see, what do I want to do next? The next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and, all right, this is where it's going to get tricky. We're going to give him, all right, before I do anything else, all right, we're going to give him some earmuffs. So we're going to come in here and trying to think what color earmuffs we want to give him. Maybe, do I have any hot pink here? All right, this is a red. Let's give him, how about some purple? Let's give him some purple earmuffs. I've got some purple here. All right, so we're going to pour this on here. And we're going to come in here. And I'm just going to kind of dab. Oh, this is too small. All right, hang on. This is way too small. Let's try that again. We'll come back with that for something else. All right, this brush looks better. All right, let's come in here with some purple. Make sure my brush doesn't have water that's going to drip down it. It's kind of like a half moon here. Up against his head. And then we're going to come over here on this side, about the same height. Make them about the same size. And I'm thinking I might want to throw a little bit of white in here. Okay, there's his earmuffs. Let me clean my brush. And all right, let's see here. Let me throw a little tiny bit of white in here, just for some highlights. All right, then I'm going to come back over this with a little bit more purple, just to tone it down a little bit. We'll go one more time with a little bit more purple. All right, so now we're going to take some black and we are going to, hopefully I'm going to be able to do this in one swoop. We will see. All right, so again, I'm going to take my brush, I'm going to clean it off real well, and I'm going to go in here and just get some muscle memory going here with a clean brush. All right, and now I'm going to come in here with my black. Let's see how this is going to. Let me get a little bit more black, some fresh black. And this brush might be better, I'm thinking. All right, this seems to be holding a little bit more paint. I don't want it real thick, so I'm just kind of testing this. Are these the same size? This is a 3. Huh. All right, I'm going to go with this one because it looks like it's smaller. All right, here we go, y'all. I'm going to come in here And I am going to go across his head. Ha ha ha, there we go. All right, that worked out. So now we've got some headphones on him. And I've already got black in my brush. So I don't smudge it or smear it. I'm going to come in here with the same brush that had the black in it, and I'm going to draw. All right, let's see how I want to do this. I'm going to draw some lights across here. Here we go. I want to make sure that I have a good amount of paint on here, but not too much. And, okay, this is where I get nervous, y'all. All right, so we're going to bring the lights down here. Ran out of paint, so I'm going to come back. And I'm going to bring this down. Probably a little thicker than I wanted, but that's okay. And then I'm going to come in here with some white. I'm going to go ahead and clean my brush out. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to get a little bit of white highlights. Actually, I think I want to go with a smaller brush. It's a little thick. All right, so we're going to come in here. With a detail brush. Just kind of follow that. All right, we're going to get that out of here. And I'm going to go back over this just a little bit with some more black, just to kind of tone this down a little bit. All right, now we're going to put some lights on this. All right, so here we go. I think this is the brush I want to use. Whew. Okay, here we go, y'all. I'm going to give him some buttons. So I'm going to take a little bit of gray. So I've got some gray here. Actually, I've got some black and white. Just going to take a little bit of this white, bring it over here, and put just a dot. Can y'all see what I'm doing? Probably not. Just a dot of black in here, and we're going to make some gray like stones for buttons. All right, here we go. All right, so we're going to start. We're going to go, this is going to be his first button, or rock. And then I'm going to come back with some black highlights here. This is his second button, or second little stone for kind of gray. Make this one about the same size. And then I come in here, just a teeny tiny bit of black in here. Make it look kind of like a marbled look. Just a little tiny bit more. Just very, very little. And then I think I'm going to throw some brown in here too. All right, so let me get the black out of there, and we're going to add a little bit of brown to kind of look like a granite look. Okay, there's his buttons. He's got him some little buttons. And then the last thing that we're going to do is we're going to put Christmas lights. Well, no, not the last thing, because we're going to do some more highlights here in a minute. All right, so we're going to take, and I am going to get some green. Let's see where I have room on my palette for this. I'm going to put a little bit of green. Oh, that needs to be shaken up. Let's try that again. There we go. All right, so we got green. We're going to do, what color red do I want to use? That's kind of deep. I think I'm going to go with the brighter red. So we'll go with the red. We're going to go with the yellow. And then I think I want a blue. So we'll see where this takes us. Ooh. All right, so I'm going to start with the yellow. I kind of like this blue because I think this blue is going to look good with this. And just any blue. All right, so here we go. So I'm going to come in here, and I'm going to go in here with my yellow first. And I'm just going to test this to see if this is going to give me a light bulb. All right, here we go. So I'm going to come in here. Hey, Nancy. Oops, I needed this down. We're going to come in here and, all right, let's see how I'm going to do this. All right, so I'm going to go, there's one light. I'm going to go around, and then I'm going to come back, and I'll show you why in a minute. I don't have the shoulder ability to twist my arm, so this is how I'm going to do it. And I need my brush. I need the back end of the brush to be the bigger part. So I'm going to come over here. Let's try this and see what happens. All right, that'll be okay. And then we'll do one in here. One there. One there. And one there. All right, so we've got some yellow lights on there. Now we're going to, I wish I would have arced that a little bit higher, but I didn't, so here we are. All right, let's clean this off. And we're going to go in with some green, because that would be the next color next to, all right, here we go, y'all. Make sure this is dry so it doesn't drip on me. And we're going to go get some green lights in here. I was doing watermelon seeds for something, and I found out, how to figure out how to make the brush give that kind of look. And you just kind of lay it down and press it, and the brush will do what it needs to do. Okay. All right, so that's the green. Now we're going to go for blue, and then the last one we'll do will be the red. So we're going to go in here with the blue. The size of the brush does matter. All right, we'll bring this blue one here. We'll put a blue one up there. I want to leave room for some red ones. All right, we'll do that, and then we'll come back with some red. Making sure my brush is wiped off. All right, here we go. I'm going to do a red one down here at the bottom. Do a red one over here at the bottom. And we'll put a red one right up here. One right in there. And I'm just kind of pressing the brush down gently and then letting the brush do the work. Whoops, that one's not quite pointed enough, but that's okay. All right, then we'll do one, let's do one over this way. One over this way. One over that way. All right, so that's what we have. I feel like I need a red one right there. Okay, so this is what we have for our lights so far. And we're going to clean our brush one more time, and we're going to go in here with some white, and we're going to put the white, hey Teresa. All right, we're going to dry this, and then we're going to put some white. We got some water on here. We're almost there, y'all. All right, so we're going to go in here now, and we're going to go into our white and just get a little tiny bit on the end of our brush. And I'm going to go in right at the end of each one of these lights. This is going to be the light part of it, where the light bulb is. And just a little tiny dot at the base of this, so that they look like they're lit up. I think I want to do something with like Christmas lights. All right, we're going to come in, we're going to get just a little bit more paint. All right, there we go. All right, so this is what we have. I kind of missed the arc part on his lights. They're kind of like falling down on him, but that's okay. All right, so next thing we're going to do is we're going to come back in here, now that this is dry, over here, and we are going to add a little bit of, all right, let's see what color we want to do. I think I'm going to add, let me get a different brush. I think I want to add, whoops, I got this thing going underneath here. I'll have to lift that up. I don't know what I lost down there. All right, let's see what I have over here. All right, let me use this brush here. This one's a little bit thicker. All right, so the next thing that I want to do is I want to come over here And I want to bring in some of this color into the snow. And we're going to give it, let's see if I can get this on here. All right, so I'm going to come down here around the base, and I'm going to try not to stick this in my paint. And we're going to just lightly give him like a little bit of shadow. A little bit of shadow. And let's see what else I got over here. I'll show you what I'm looking at in just a minute, because I practiced this before I came on. The other day I practiced. All right, so I want to come in and I want to use some of this. This is called Teal Mint, and just a little bit. And I want to grab a little bit of white with this. And I just want to add just a little bit of that color in there. Let's see if I have something lighter. Don't. All right. All right, so this is what we have. And then the last thing that I want to add here are some snowflakes. So we're going to hold this. I'm going to, I think I want to just add a little bit more white to this, y'all. Not completely sold. There we go. Just kind of tone that down a little bit. A little bit of a shadow, but not a whole lot. And then that will bring in. All right, we're going to come in here, and we're going to just lightly. All right. One more pass on this. Take advantage of this leftover white that I have. It looks like I'm going to get right to the end of this bottle of paint, y'all. So that means I'm going to free up some space in my craft room. All right. All right, I think that's going to work. All right, so this is what we have. And now we're going to add some snowflakes. Let me clean my brush. And let's see if I have just enough white left in here from my snowflakes. Here we go. Just going to clean this out. Almost done. All right. So I'm going to take the back of a brush and I'm going to stick it in my paint, and then I'm going to just kind of dot it. And we're going to go across here and we are going to just add some snowflakes. And so that I get different size snowflakes, I'm not going to retap it. If I wanted the same size snowflakes, I would reapply the paint each time, but I'm not going to do that because we want a variation of the snowflakes. Did anybody get snow the other day? We got snow. We don't normally get snow. And I'm just randomly putting these down. No rhyme or reason. I'm just kind of looking for holes. And you can see that as I tap this, the snowflakes get smaller. So now there would normally be snowflakes on the snowman. So I'm going to go ahead and put some on him. Because the snow's not coming down, is not going to miss him. And then I'm going to also put some snowflakes down here in the bottom because it would fall to the ground. You think realistically what would actually happen. And you give it as many snowflakes as, I'm going to do one off to the side of his face. Some in here, maybe one on the top, one down there, and one over there, a real small one. All right, and it's snowing, y'all, so this is what we have. I got one more spot that I think needs a snowflake, and that's right there and right there. Okay, let me turn this around. And this is what we have. This is our little snowman. All right, so this is the one that I started yesterday, finished today. And I'm going to show you the one that I practiced with. Actually, I think the one that I practiced with turned out better than today's. But I also did, when I practiced the piece that I'm about to show y'all, I did it on a smaller board. Okay, so this is the one that I practiced with. See how I got his lights up there a little bit higher? So this is my practice one. This is a 9x12 canvas panel, and then this is today's. So you can see this one's a little bit bluer, this one's a little bit greener. They're different in sizes. You can see that you know, they're pretty close. The only thing I wish is that I would have put a bigger arch on the lights. It looks like they're falling down on his head. But anyway, so that's what we have. That's what I have for y'all. I encourage you to do like me and step outside your comfort zone. This is way outside my comfort zone. But one day I'll be even better. The more you practice, the easier it gets. And the more you practice, the better it gets. So I hope that y'all will try something new. And God bless you. I love you. Jesus loves you the most. And I will be on tomorrow. So tomorrow at 6 o'clock. And the theme is also snowman. It's a snowman and an ornament. So I've got something exciting that I'm going to make tomorrow. All right. Y'all have a great night and stay safe. Bye-bye.